and intro. There we go. What's up, guys? Danger Rick here to talk about Safety 303, some of the behind the scenes and some of how we actually put it together. So as always, I had my buddy Josh put together the instrumental. He did the production behind the song, and I caught up with my buddy Mikhail because he's filmed Safety 101 and 202, just as Josh had done the songs for 101 and 202 as well. So I'm trying to keep that team the same every year. We both went to Keene State College, so we wanted to encapsulate that experience, obviously with the Safety 303 and kind of like the educational aspect that was part of it as well. Unfortunately, when he showed up, it was raining very hard. And when we went out to film, it was downpouring the whole time. I was wearing a rain jacket and a sweatshirt and a hat and the safety vest, as you guys would see. And I got soaked, he got soaked, we both got sick because of it. And part of the reason I'm doing this video and a big part of the behind the scenes aspect was, how do I say this? When we shot Safety 101 and 202, we shot those with my Canon 60D, and those were just straightforward regular MOV clips. When we shot this one around, because it was raining and because of the limitations of what we could do out in the rain, we actually ended up using the GoPro 8 because it's waterproof and there's a lot more functionality that you can do with it. I want to do some stuff with speed and kind of work it that way. As we showed up to the front of Appian Way over at Keene State, we started there and we started filming, and we went from location to location. I had the whole thing mapped out, so there was a lot of planning that went into it. We went to the TDS Center, we went to Randall Hall where I lived my freshman year, we went to the library, we went to the Media Arts Center, we went to the Student Center, we went over to Pondside 1, so we hit all these spots. But as we realized was, we got the first verse done at the arches over at Appian Way, and we went and we got other shots that were going to be used for the choruses, and I'll kind of describe that in a little bit. But we eventually made our way over to the Media Arts Center, and I looked at the camera and I realized that he was shooting in hyperspeed, which means those clips are all 10 seconds long, whether it's a 10-second clip or a 5-minute clip, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the weekend. So seeing that a lot of the clips were sped up to the point that I don't know if I'd really be able to use them, we kind of just kept pushing through the day with the intent of going out the next day and really reshooting the whole thing with the proper camera settings. As you guys will see with the Safety 303, it almost worked out perfectly where each verse was filmed with the right settings, and then the choruses, I don't know how it worked out this way, but each of the choruses were hyper smooth. So as I put those into the timeline, I was able to make up that ground and put in that material much faster than if I had synced up the lyrics with those choruses. So it really worked out great. Yeah, and then day 2 we went out. It was a nice day. Instead of wearing a rain jacket, I was just wearing a cutoff so you can see my tattoos. I know I got cool looking tattoos, which is cool. Yeah, and then we literally just reshot the whole video that day too. Same locations, same process. And then, unfortunately, for day 2, we also discovered that we were shooting in slow-mo or whatever it was. So both days were kind of a wash. A lot of the material we could still use, but having the hyper smooth issues day 1 and then the slow-mo issues day 2, I was just pretty much done with the project. I was just kind of not in a good spot. I mean, I put a lot of time and effort into this, and then to have a video issue and on a technicality kind of pissed me off, but I mean, it is what it is, and I kind of worked through it. So that was shot back in June, so right after school got out. I didn't want to walk through campus with a bunch of 18-year-olds looking at me rapping on Appian Way, because that would have made me feel stupid. So I'd rather just feel stupid by myself, which is fortunately what happened. I put off editing the video for several months, so today is the end of September, and I put out the video today, actually. And yeah, I was really just putting it off because I didn't know how I was going to approach it. So as I was starting to edit it and I went through the day 1 footage, I actually realized that the verses were shot correctly, the choruses were sped up, which worked out in its own little way because each of the choruses have the same vibe now, and they were able to kind of all work together. So after I had the edit for day 1, I was again kind of stuck up on it. I didn't know what the next step would be. And I kind of thought to myself, well, I could edit day 2 to the same song and essentially have 2 different music videos, but they would be the identical thing, just one during a nice day and one during a rainy day. And I didn't want to do that because the day 1 footage looked pretty sweet. the day 2 footage isn't really going to see the light of day. I'll use some of it for this video for some overlay stuff, but for the most part, you know, that day 1 really kind of got us covered. So if I had taken the time Saturday night to review the footage, and then we would have been able to kind of go back and make sure that we had everything we had, which we did, we wouldn't have had to go out on day 2. It was a good experience. You know, again, I'm kind of getting my money's worth out of Mikhail, and he's able to get his skills kind of more honed in on this process. It was a pain in the ass. The whole video was kind of a pain in the ass. Editing was stressful. You know, like I said, I put it off for several months. I didn't really want to put effort into it. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And up until I kind of realized all right, well, I have a very rough cut with just day 1. I actually looked at an effects package that I ended up buying for the music video. So that's how you kind of have the blur from one image to another image. And then some of the motion blurs as well as the glitch textures and stuff like that. So I was able to put it together. I put the video out. I put out the little YouTube short as well, kind of promoting it. And then, yeah, for this, I'll put some of the overlays for the day 2 footage, because beyond that, I'm not gonna edit the whole music video again to day number 2. That's kind of stupid. And I might just use this audio as the baseline for the whole video. So you might get to some muted tracks throughout this whole process. But yeah, I just wanted to have this be the period at the end of the sentence, you know, wrap up this project. Every music video I do some type of behind the scenes aspect to it. So with that being said, I believe that is Safety 303. So how does the song end? Most of life's lessons are basically free, so congratulations, you passed Safety 303. All right, folks, keep it creamy.